So just a little bit about Eryka. She is a doctor. She has her doctorate of education in community care and counseling, traumatology, that's easier to read than to say, and a background in sociology, EMDR counseling, and criminal justice, specializing in clinical mental health counseling and trauma recovery. Eryka is an assistant professor at Missouri Baptist University's graduate counseling program. She's also the founder and executive director of Kairos Hope, which provides safe housing, life skills training, trauma-informed counseling, Christ-centered discipleship, and transition planning to empower lasting recovery. So Eryka's going to share a little bit about mental health and probably a little bit about Kairos as well.
Perfect. There's my clicker. All right. I want to start off. Who in here has all the money they need to do all the things they want to do at their program? All right, cool. I'm in the right room. But I'm sure you guys have all the people, resources, and time, right? No. Okay, good. So we're on the same page. We're all at a really big deficit on how to get the funding, how to get the people, how to do all the things. The thing about this is we don't necessarily need more resources. We don't necessarily need more programs. We need more connection. We need people that are going to get to the heart of the issue. We've heard from multiple people about, I just sat with them. I just listened to them. I just connected with them. And that's what made the change. So yes, we need housing. We need people that are going to do all of these things. But it's when we start connecting with people that it really starts becoming powerful. So a little bit about connection. As you guys heard, I have my doctorate in traumatology. It is a real word, just means I know a lot about trauma. So how many of you have seen your brain? Anyone seen a brain scan, MRI? All right, the very back of your brain right here is your amygdala. So your amygdala is this alarm system. Anytime you went through any type of trauma, even if it's small, someone pulled out in front of you when you're heading somewhere and you have to slam on your brakes, this amygdala is gonna get huge. All of a sudden, the fire alarm is going off in your house. However, once that car moves on, everything goes on, maybe you give them a nice little wave, and everything is good again, right? However, with trauma, that amygdala doesn't shrink. We actually know that it stays as an alarm system in their brain, and that logical side of your brain and the feeling side of your brain no longer connect. So we get these clients that are either all logical, you see no emotion, or they're all emotional, and there is no logic whatsoever. So we have to come in and get that amygdala to calm down. And what do you do when the fire alarm's going off? You call the fire department. Those people come in and help. And that's what we are here to do. We're here to bring in the connection. You need people to get that amygdala to go down. Also, we know when we have connection, it reshapes our brain. So if you guys have ever went hiking before, you guys know that if somebody keeps going down the same path over and over, we can force a path to happen. So these people have had the same path over and over. I can't trust somebody. I can't trust somebody. I can't trust anybody. However, when we show them, hey, maybe you can trust somebody, that's a hard path to walk the first time. It's scary. The second time they walk it, oh, there's another person I can trust. That path gets beamed down a little bit more. Soon, they stop taking this automatic path of I can't trust anybody, and they start taking this other path. Maybe I can trust somebody. Maybe I can venture this way. So connection rewires the brain over and over and over. We also know that people are multifaceted. We've heard a lot of different programs talk about, I help with addiction, I help with housing, we help with this. We have to do it all. We all are needed. If we just are like, here's a house, you have a house, best of luck. We don't have the financial piece, we don't have the occupational piece, we don't have the social piece. What happens? They fail, right? We don't meet all the needs. So you have to get that occupational, that financial, that social, that physical, emotional, like all the pieces in order to have whole healing for them. So a little bit about Kairos. If you guys have talked to me out in the booth or was here last year, we are a Christian recovery home for survivors of sexual trauma. So we take in any women over the age of 18 that has experienced any form of sexual trauma. So 60% are coming out of trafficking. Another big population we see is foster care, that they've bounced around a lot, had a lot of trauma that way, or people that had childhood sexual abuse and now they're 18 dealing with substance addiction, abuse, still within like partner violence, things like that. And they're needing a safe place to go, and there's not a lot for 18 plus. What we do first is provide all the necessities, their housing, their food, their hygiene things. As soon as they get there, they get a hygiene basket of full, shampoo, conditioner, all the things they need. So they can walk in the door with absolutely nothing and have everything they need to be successful. Second is that connection piece. So we provide a Bible study partner for every single girl, completely free licensed counseling for every girl. We make sure that they have a church community. They're required to pick a church and stick with that church, get involved with that church. I don't want you just sitting in the back pew. I want you serving in some way. We have people running the media team. We have some people doing greetings, some people keeping care of the plants outside. Like, whatever your skill is, get plugged in. And then we also create a family environment. So all of our volunteers really plug into them. So for Easter, we're not having Easter at the house with just the residents. No, you're going home with a family. You're gonna go home with them. Like, that is gonna be your family. I hear girls all the time be like, I know what to do if my car breaks down. I'm calling Gary. Like, Gary's the dad around here. Like, they know people that are going to be family. The next piece is that upward mobility. So they've sat in the program, they've kind of done all the things that we just heard the other ones speak about. Now we need to get that employment. We need to get that financial piece. So we help plug them in. Do you need an education? Let's get a degree. Let's do it. Do you need some sort of life skill training? Like, a lot of these women have trauma that started at the age of 4. Like, they don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. They don't know how to do resumes, interviews. So let's build those strengths. What are they? We're a small program. We have up to 6 beds right now. And so that lets us individualize it to whatever they're needing. It's not like, all right, run of the mill, you're number 52, get in line. The last piece is stabilization. So they get to the end of the program. We always tell them it's about a year, but we can do whatever they want. If they're doing a college degree, it'll be 4 years. Let's get this finished. Let's stay here and let's do it, because we know stability is going to get to a completion. But once they reach the end, we're not like, all right, thanks for coming, like, head on out of here. That's not gonna work well for them. So we help them get what we consider the 4 necessities. One is a house. You're not going back to your abusive boyfriend's couch. You're not going back to family. You are getting your own place. And because you've been saving well, you can. So you get to turn the key, and we're gonna fully furnish it for you. You're off to go, all right? Secondly, you've held a job. You've been holding a job for probably about 6 months at this point. You have that income to keep going from there, and you've already made a budget based on that. Third is transportation. I am in a real rural area, guys. A taxi is not an option. So if you can drive, you better get that, and we require you to have a car before you graduate with us. So those are things that they're saving up for. And then lastly is accountability. We just gave you a ton of support. If we head you out the door at month 12 and you don't have an accountability partner, you don't have a church, you're gonna fall right back in. It's about the people you hang out with. So that's what we kind of require for them. Now that sounds great, full wrap-around care. We must have a big program going. No, we run on $1,200 a month, all right? Let that sink in. Most American families make more than that a month. So how are we doing this? How are we making this even possible? Well, I'm gonna pause just for a second on that, leave you guys hanging, and just introduce myself real quick. So I am Christian. We are a Christian-based organization. We believe we can't offer hope if we don't offer Christ, and that is something we stand on, and we let everyone know when they come in. You don't have to be a Christian, but do know it is a Christian program. Secondly, I'm a survivor. I've walked this road. I know how hard it is to get resources. I know that if I have to call 100 places when I'm in the middle of depression, I'm not doing it. I'm staying in bed. It's hard to get a hold of resources. A licensed professional counselor now, expert in trauma, and professor at MBU, so I'm really helping equip people to go out. I am really good at equipping leaders, multiplying that so that we can make more impact. And then I have a really rural upbringing, 150 people in my town. Do you think there was resources there? We didn't even have a gas station, guys. So I got really efficient at finding and connecting with people. And that's exactly what we did. We had to start thinking more creatively. So as far as necessities, food banks, distribution sites, grocery stores, connecting with them and letting them be a part of the mission. Let them bring that in. Working with Oates Transportation to get that transportation piece for appointments. You guys are familiar with a lot of the places that offer case management, all of those things. As far as connection, you guys have heard from a couple, 3 different ones that build connections, like Broken and Beautiful, that will stick with them and connect with them. Lifeline, if they have any history of like abortion, things like that. Options for Women, all of those pieces that can just connect them. Because I can't be all things to all people, but we have some really good resources. Start digging in, start finding those resources. And as far as upward mobility, you have vocational rehabilitation, you have a lot of those skill up type programs. You have all of the different life skills training programs, curriculums, things like that, that you can bolster people so that we don't have to be all things to all people. That is how we are able to do it. But what we don't do is say, all right, come sit in our house and call all these people. Here's all the numbers, best of luck. They're not gonna get very far. What we do is say, hey, what are your goals right now? Where do you wanna head? We're gonna start knocking those out little by little. Let me connect you with my friend over here that does XYZ. I do that warm handoff, make sure that they have that connection to go forward. So, a few things for building these connections. 1, you guys need the relationship. That's why I love this type of event. Like, I was able to go around and talk with quite a few of you guys and get to know you guys, and I know your names, I know your faces. That helps me when I go to refer a client that I know I'm handing them to a good, solid resource. You know how many phone numbers we have that never work? How many websites you never get an answer to? And if you're a client trying to navigate that, you quit. It is 100% exhausting. So for all my people out there that are running agencies, know who you're referring to. Have coffee with them. Like, that's how Adrian and I started. Hey, come to the place, let's have coffee, let's talk, let's get to know each other, and now we know we're a good referral source. That builds a ton of trust for your clients. It lets them know that you're gonna walk through it with them. Secondly is a warm handoff. When I do it, I'm not like, all right, call this number and best of luck. Before we ever move forward, I'm contacting and letting them know, like, hey, I have this amazing young lady that's wanting to pursue XYZ. Do you have an opening? Or would you have availability for a call next week? Like, build that into the system so that you know that no person is getting dropped. Because when someone's struggling with mental health, this is just one more piece, one more place that they feel rejected, one more place at a closed door. So helping them know all of those pieces. And then the last one is honesty. We all have clients that are difficult, all right? I'm gonna be honest with you. There are some that just don't fit our program well, and sometimes you just need them to move along. You need to find them a better resource. However, you need to be honest with whoever you are referring to so that they get the best help, because if we bounce clients from place to place to place without being honest about what they're really needing, it doesn't do them a service. We're doing harm for them. And so what we need to do is be honest about what they're needing, be honest about what struggles there are. And when we build that honest relationship, those referrals mean so much. I know when I get an email from Adrian about they have a resident that they're needing to place, solid, I can get her in next week. Because there's a relationship. I know she knows about my program, I know about her program, I know it's gonna be a good referral. So build those connections that you know exactly what's needed. You know who those people are. All right, so some final tips for you guys. 1, talk to people outside your agency. Like, sometimes we have amazing people that we love and there's a lot of connection, there's a lot of creativity there. However, when you talk to someone outside the agency, they have great ideas. We can also steal a lot of resources. Even this past week, I messaged Adrian and was like, hey, do you have this? Can you email me that? I don't want to reinvent the wheel. All right, have people that you can pull resources from, share things. Because what are there, maybe 100 people here? If we all share our resources, man, that goes a long way in a rural area. Secondly, you don't have to be the answer. But it's really cool if you know somebody is the answer. So take that pressure off. You don't have to be the answer. All right, we don't have to hurry and build something because we don't already have that, so let's hurry and create something over here. Send them to someone who already has the answer. Know your scope. This is a big one. When we're in a rural area, know what is your population, know who your people are, and then build an arsenal. All right, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, we're not doing this. So those are the resources I'm looking for. Those are the arsenal that I'm building so that now I have an answer for everyone. You don't have to solve it, just solve the next little piece. It's a slow process. When someone comes in and they have 50 problems and probably 10 years of trauma, sometimes we're like, oh, I got 100 people for you. You need to contact this person, this person, this person, this person. They're like, whew, slow down. Give them one resource at a time. What do you think is the next best step for them? So keeping it slow, keeping it steady. And then last is know who's ready for the next step and know who just needs you to be steady. All right, there are some clients that are not ready to go deeper. They're not ready to go further. And so that's okay. Maybe you just need to be that steady person. Maybe you need to be that person that plays cool music every Monday. They're not ready yet, and that's okay. And then they know that when they are getting to a place where they're ready for something, you have the answer. You have somebody that knows the answer. So being willing to recognize that sometimes they're ready to go somewhere and sometimes they're not. The last thing I want to leave you guys with, burnout is high. 70% of you in this room have probably considered quitting in the past 3 years. All right, this is not an easy field. It is not easy being on all the time or trying to help people and seeing some of the hurt, hearing the hard stories. We know that 30% in the field are going to drop out this year. All right, there are many people that are quitting. These are things that are going to protect you from burnout. Connecting with others in the field that know the ministry. Because yeah, we can help a lot of people with their mental health. We can help a lot of people with their addiction, their homelessness, all the things. But if your mental health tanks over it, we can't keep doing the good work we're doing. So find those steady people. Find those people that are going to be helping you along the way and keeping you healthy so you can help other people. Thank you guys so much for letting me speak with you guys, and I look forward to talking to you guys.